Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. It's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey player Evan Mosey. Evan most recently played with Gap in the Ligue Magnus and EHC Freiburg in the Del 2 last season. He just signed to play in the Elite Ice Hockey League for the Sheffield Steelers this season. Evan has spent majority of his pro career overseas in the Elite Ice Hockey League, along with playing for Great Britain in the World Championships, and also spent 1 season in the East Coast Hockey League with the Indy Fuel and the American Hockey League with the Rockford Icehogs. Evan played his college hockey days at Minnesota State Mankato and spent his junior hockey days in the North American Hockey League and the WSHL. So this is going to be a fun episode. Evan, so welcome to the show, Evan Mosey.
Yeah, awesome, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. Hometown buddies. So I don't know how we've never hooked up before.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, when you come back from overseas, we'll definitely have to link up or something for sure.
Well, yeah, you live 5 minutes away from where I come back in the summer.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy. But how have you been? Like, you're overseas now in Sheffield, so how's everything going with you?
Everything good. Like, it was it's kind of a pain to get over here with like Corona and everything. Like all the restrictions and stuff changed. So just getting over here was kind of a hassle, which normally you're not used to. Normally you just get on a flight and then come over. But I'm here now, and it's pretty much normal. Like nothing's really crazy going on. So yeah, it's good to get over here. I got over here 2 weeks early and just started skating, met some of the guys, and kind of just getting settled in.
How was the travel day? I bet it was really long, especially with like COVID and all that.
Surprisingly, mine wasn't. Like some guys are pretty long, but I think I flew Chicago to Brussels, which is like 7 hours, 8 hours, and then Brussels to London, or no, Brussels to Manchester. And I only had like a 50-minute connection, so I had to like rush to that one. And then I got on that plane, and then they lost my hockey bag, my suitcase, and like my sticks. They lost everything.
Wow. Did you ever find it, or did you have to buy like everything again?
No, I think I arrived Monday, and they ended up giving me my suitcase on like Thursday, and then they couldn't find my hockey bag. And they like called me to ask like how much, and I had like clothes and stuff, and like they asked me how much like the contents were in my hockey bag, and I said probably worth like 5,000 to 10,000, which is accurate, because I had like 2 pairs of skates, like I had a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, and they were like, oh, we'll find it, and they found it like the next day. I was like, oh, how convenient, like weird. Just put a dollar figure on how much it actually is,
and then it magically appears after that.
Yeah, which like no one plays ice hockey. Like hardly anybody plays ice hockey in the UK. So I can't imagine somebody was like that's a hockey bag. I'm going to steal that because like no one even knows what it is.
Yeah, that's funny though. But how's everything going? Like you said, you start training camp tomorrow or Monday. So
Yeah.
how's everything going in Sheffield and just preparing? Like you met some of the guys, like you said, and just being over there and getting used to the time change and everything.
Yeah. So like met some of the guys. There's a lot of the British guys are here. There's a couple imports, but we skated with like the last like 2 weeks. We had like 7 to 9 guys, 7 to 10 guys. And we just go out there and do, I don't know, a couple like flow drills and then scrimmage. And it was just like nothing crazy. In the last, like this week, we kind of picked it up more intense, kind of did like bag skates at the end. And then training camp starts Monday. So pretty much a majority of the whole team will be here. And then just start doing practices, probably learning all the systems and time change. I don't know. I'm used to it. Like the first couple days are tough and then you kind of just adjust and you just the only thing you got to do is like fight to stay awake. And that's like the hardest thing is like just battling. You got to like make yourself busy to like stay awake, like go for like random walks at like 8:00 at night, just so you don't fall asleep.
Yeah. You can't do nothing. Cause that's when trouble hits you and you fall asleep.
Yeah. And if you do fall asleep, you're like screwed. Cause like you'll fall asleep at like 12 to 5 or 12 to 7 or something, and then you'll be up the entire night. So like you just got to stay awake and then pass out, and then once you get on a sleep schedule, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. But once you get on the schedule, like that, like everything's fine after that.
You're golden. You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to get into youth hockey here a little bit for you growing up. So you spent your youth career playing AAA hockey for the Chicago Force and the Chicago Mission growing up. So like, what was it like playing those organizations and like growing up in the Chicagoland area?
Well, yeah, like if you look at my like resume, my resume is like strange. So like I grew up playing, I played AA like for the Huskies like my whole life. I played like a half season of Mission, and then that's when like, well, yeah, I was like everybody was telling me how good AAA was, so I played like AA my whole life, which is like I like struggled to make teams. Like I was just a late bloomer, and then played a half season of AAA, and I thought like that was going to be a huge step up from AA, and it wasn't. So that's when I left and went and played juniors in the WSHL just because I was older. I think I was 18, and like somebody knew this coach, and they were like, I don't know, he'll help you develop. And like the WSHL wasn't like the best league, but like it was for me personally, like it was a great like stepping stone to be able to like live away from home, get a little bit of confidence. Like I did decent there. Like I enjoyed it. Like it was hard. Like the coach was crazy, but he was like a good coach. Like he pushes you. So it was kind of like good to get away from like my like comfort zone growing up where like AA and AAA it was just nice to get away and like live on your own, kind of get a little bit of independence and do that. Like that was probably the most fun I had as like growing up was doing that, being able to just kind of go see. I played in like Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like I played just to see like different city, like meet new people, like and figure out like if this is like that was kind of like, oh, is hockey like something I actually want to like keep doing? It was like maybe try it out, and if I didn't like it, then just stop playing. But I enjoyed it, so then I just kept kind of doing what I was doing.
Yeah, sometimes a crazy coach are the best coaches to play for because they get the most out of you, and you even though you may be scared of them a little bit, but like they get a lot out of you.
Yeah, and like his coaching was like old school, where like now if you did it, like there's not a chance, like and like so, like there's not a chance like anything would like yeah, like he just like there's no way like he could be able to coach like that now. Like times have changed so much. Like I grew up in like the like hard-nosed coaching era where like the coaches could like pretty much yell at you, whatever, and like you never once like went to your parents and said like this is, or like even if you did, my dad would be like, all right, well, like did you deserve it? And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, okay, like, like I don't want to say kids are like coddled now, but like
yeah,
when I go back home and like do like youth camps and stuff, like I'll like say something to my buddies like, man, you can't say that anymore. I'm like, are you serious? Like you can't like yell at a kid. He's like, nah, man, you can't. Like you'll get yelled at by the parents. I'm just like, oh my god, like come on.
Yeah, and it's a tough world now in the hockey world.
Yeah, I don't know if I could coach like youth. I don't think like if I'm coaching, I don't think I can coach youth hockey because
Yeah.
I'm like I'm not old school and mean, but I'm like, yeah, if you need to like yell at somebody, like I'm gonna like I don't know
You're
how
gonna
to
do
like
it.
yeah, I don't know how to like tell somebody that was terrible in like a nice way because like my coaches would like look at me and be like, that was shit, like that was terrible. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, now you can't
Yeah.
do that. You gotta
Now
like
you can't do that unless you're gonna get yelled
no.
at by someone
Yeah,
else.
you're gonna get yelled at by, but like some parents love it. Like some parents are like, thank God, like somebody's honest with my son or like daughter. They're like, thank God somebody will like tell them like that's not the right way to like play ice hockey.
Yeah. Growing up now and like the levels I'm playing at, like I prefer the honesty because you're not gonna get anything from just sugarcoating everything and just not telling it
Yeah,
how it actually is.
and that's like one of my like the first it was my second, well yeah, my second pro coach like in Nottingham. He was like that, like he was completely honest, and like he was my favorite coach. Like he like if you knew where you stood with him at all times, like if you had a good game, he'd tell you like you played good, and if you had a bad game, like he was not afraid to tell you like that was absolutely garbage, like you need to play better. Like there was no like there's no like mind games where like, oh, do you think I did good, do you think, and like he pretty much let you know. So like you knew exactly what you needed to do, which is like the best way to learn and like to like at least be like successful and like have a standard that you know you need to play at every night. So
Yeah, exactly. So I'll go back to double A and triple A a little bit here. So like you said, you were struggling to make those double A teams because you're a late bloomer. So like how do you go about facing that adversity and just overcoming it and just continue to work, even though you're probably a little younger and a little more immature at the time and just not
yeah,
really thinking about it as a whole. But like, what would you do to help yourself get better?
um, just played like I played with like my friends at the time. Like it was just like kids that I grew up with. I played like double A and I played high school hockey just because my friends played. And like I was just a late bloomer. Like I didn't like it was different times back then. Like I don't think I started working out, like actually like picking up a weight till I was like 17, 18. And like now kids are it's just different. Like kids are working out at like 13, maybe 12, 13. Like they're doing like off ice plyometrics, like body weight. And like for me, it was
Yeah.
just like I started working out way later because it wasn't a thing. And like for me to stay motivated, like it wasn't, I didn't really think I was gonna be able to do what I'm doing now. Like it was just like I'm with my friends. Um, like I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy playing hockey. Like even though I knew I wasn't like great. I didn't play like it wasn't until I was like 16, 17, and 18 I played on like a little bit higher teams in the double A. But like yeah, I just like I enjoyed like meeting like new people, like new friends, and like just having fun with it. Like it wasn't, I never thought like I'd be able to take it this far. Like it was never anything like that. And then once I started kind of like the game started coming a little bit easier, and like I kind of understood how it was played and what I was successful at and what I was good at, that's when I kind of started um like kind of just diving deeper into it and like talking with like I had great coaches that kind of like would sit you down and like just teach you, like go through video and like teach you where to be, things to do. And like I jumped around a lot, so I played like defense and I played forward, and I'd always like jump around, and like I do that now like professionally, which like not many players do, where like they, so like that growing up was just for me, it was like I'm going to play as many positions as I can and try to learn as much as I can in the game because there's something that I like to do, and now it kind of pays off in full for me because I'm probably one of the only guys in this league. There's not many that can be successful at like both forward and D, and like even any league that I've played in, I've played forward and D. Like I doesn't really bother me. So
Yeah, just going back to the foundations of having fun when you're a young kid, and then learning all those positions, like it really helps you see the plays develop even more, and your hockey IQ is a lot higher when you know what to do in every situation from every position.
yeah, exactly. And I think like it's hard too because like now if you look at kids, like a lot of the parents kind of force them to play, and they push them so hard where it's like they got to do off ice, they got to do weight training, they got to do like summer league. And it's like when I'm guessing like when you were growing up and we were growing up, it was kind of just like your parents were like, do you want to do it? And you'd be like, yeah, because like so and so, like my buddies are playing, like it was more like freely, and like I'd play like baseball and soccer and golf in the summer. And like now I feel like parents are, I don't want to say like they kind of pigeonhole their kids, but they just like force them into doing. And like that's why kids get burnt out. It's like they're not really doing it on their own. It's more like they're being forced to, and then they just lose interest in it.
Yeah, I agree there, because I did baseball, I did basketball, I did like everything in the summertime, and like I think that really helps your game. Helps you become more athletic. Hand-eye, especially with baseball, like gets a lot better for hockey when you're shooting the puck and trying to pull off that incredible play where you just hit it out midair. Like it really helps the game, helps playing hockey and playing like all the other sports you do.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like it's good to have a break from a sport and be able to try to learn something else. Like it's just fun. It makes the game more, it makes you miss the game, and if you don't miss it, then like obviously you don't need to keep playing it. That's how I was when I was younger. So
yeah, you just gotta do whatever you can. You're a kid at the time. You just gotta have fun. Just anything you want. Like that's the mindset I had when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you go into junior hockey, where you said you played in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for the Tulsa Rampage. So like, what was the process like to find the Rampage organization and play in a city you probably wouldn't see as a hockey city at the time?
I don't, like, honestly, I don't even know. I think the coach like found me at a tournament or something and was like, you should come play for me. And I was like, I think I was playing AAA, and I was like, I don't want to leave my team. And like it was my dad and like his friend ended up convincing me like I should probably do it. Like it's a good step. So like I just kind of like was like fine. So I went, because I played like half the season at AAA, and then I left in December to go play in Tulsa. And like loved it, like living away from home for the first time, kind of like you live with a billet family, which they were awesome. Like they were unreal. So like they were like, it was like a home away from home, and like you get a little bit more freedom and more responsibility at hockey. Like you're kind of got to be, you're on your own time. Like you got to be at practice. Like it's not your parents telling you when to be. Like you have to set your own schedule. You have to be ready for the bus for like road trips. And it's like, so like I enjoyed that. And I think that was probably the biggest jump I had. Like the biggest improvement in my career was that half year, just because it was kind of like sink or swim. Like you get thrown into the deep end, and it's like you're either going to do good or you're going to not do good, and you're going to realize like this isn't what you want to do. And that was when I like started taking hockey really, really seriously, and just, figured like I enjoy this. This is what I want to do. And that's kind of when I realized like I could maybe get a scholarship for university with ice hockey, where like I think I was planning on playing in Tulsa, and then I was going to go to like University of Central Oklahoma had like a really good club team back then. So I was going to like go play, like I was just going to walk onto the club team, hopefully get a scholarship or something. And then like Tulsa ended, the season ended. And then I think I went to like a couple like showcase. I don't know if they still have like showcase tournaments where like,
yeah,
they still have those.
They do. Yeah, I think
They're
so.
like, they were basically like money makers. I remember I went to like a couple of those, a couple like USHL tryouts. I did good in the tryouts. I just got cut from all of them because like I played in the WSHL. Like no one's gonna give the kid a chance.
Yeah.
So I went to a showcase, and then like the coach and the assistant coach from like Wenatchee were there in the NAHL, and they were like, we're super interested. And I was like, I thought they were gonna invite me to like their main camp, like every team does, because they were like, we're a new team. And they actually like tenured me or whatever, where like you're basically, you sign before the draft, like you're like a legit player on the team so they tenured me, and I wasn't really expecting that. So like basically like I was picked on the team then, like just at a showcase, and then went to Wenatchee the next year, which was by far the best experience I've ever had playing juniors. Like that city is unbelievable.
Yeah. So what was that city like, and just playing in Wenatchee for the Wild and just learning from everything from going from the WSHL to the NAHL?
So like it's beautiful there. Like it's 3 hours south of Seattle. Like it's in the mountain. It's in by like Yakima. It's in the mountains. It's beautiful. The Columbia River goes like right between the city. it was a brand new stadium. It was like a 3,000 or 4,000 like stadium with like skyboxes. It was unreal. And it was just like, we got there. The coach played in the NHL, Paul Baxter. He played in the NHL for a year. So like, he knew what he was talking about. And it was just like, it was like a whirlwind where like I just basically took the same like work ethic I had, where like I was kind of like, no one from like the coach in Oklahoma was like, he was just like a hardworking coach, like skating. It was basically like, no, like if we're gonna lose, like they're not gonna outwork us, like we're gonna outwork every team. So I just brought that to the NA. And it was like we were actually really bad in the beginning of the year, and then come December we started like coming together as a team, and we won like the Western Conference as like a first year team in the NA. We made it to nationals, and we lost in the semis to the St. Louis Bandits, who like was coached by John Cooper, who won back-to-back Stanley Cups with Tampa Bay, and like Keith Kincaid was their goalie. So like,
wow.
This was like our first, and I think we were the first NA team. We had 2 NHL draft picks and like 7 Division I commitments on like we were like a sick team, and like
you guys were legit.
Yeah, we had like a legit NA team, and like we lost in overtime to St. Louis, and in nationals. Like but like that was the season where like I played forward in the beginning. Like I signed as a forward, played forward, and then playoffs and nationals, we had like a D-man get hurt, and the coach was like, can anybody play defense? And like I played defense growing up, so I was like, yeah, I'll play. So I switched. So playoffs and nationals, I switched back to defense and like led the league in points for defensemen in playoffs and nationals. And then I committed to Minnesota State as a defenseman. Like that was my first full season at defense was my freshman year of college.
Wow, that's crazy. Like, what was it like going from like you're playing youth hockey to for playing defense, and then you go into a junior game and you're playing defense, and then you end up leading the league in scoring for defensemen? Like, what was that transition like from going from forward one game into the defense the next game?
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, it's still not that big of a deal. Like, now that I think, like, a lot of people are like, man, that would screw me up. But like, I didn't really like I didn't overanalyze it. And like defense, like, yeah, like if you don't like screw up big time, like defense is and I'm pretty offensive when I play defense because I'm obviously a forward, but like it's for me, it's just like an easy transition. Like as long as you don't overthink it, like you don't hold on to the puck too much, you play solid defense and like get the puck out of your zone, like you're fine. Like, and you don't make huge mistakes. Like it's a pretty normal thing for me, which like a lot of people find super strange. Cause like I'll switch mid game, like I'll play shifts at forward and then shifts at D. Like it doesn't bother me. Like it makes me understand the team systems way more, like where to be, stuff like that. And like as a forward, like I know where defenseman, if like you have a defenseman covering you, like I know as a defenseman, like where he doesn't want to go. Like I know where I don't want to go, and like I know where he doesn't want me to go. So like you can like exploit positions, and just makes you understand the game, because it's a fast moving game, and like everything changes super fast. So like if you can get a little bit of an advantage, like it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a forward playing defense, and that's where your defensive tendencies with going out and trying to score some goals, get some points.
Yeah. And like not many forwards are really good at track. Like no forward likes the back check. So like if you're a defenseman, an offensive defenseman, like you can jump up in the rush, and like no forward really wants to back check you all the way from like your goal line to like their top of the circles. Like it's the most miserable job to have to do. Like it's brutal. No one likes that.
Yeah, absolutely. So then after your junior career came to an end, you go on your journey to play NCAA Division I hockey for Minnesota State University Mankato. So like, so you said that was your first full year of playing defense, and you committed there to play defense. Like, what was that freshman year like? And just, did you have any expectations going in, or were you just like, I'm just go with the flow, and like whatever comes my way, I'm gonna just push it away and just go for it?
Yeah, I think I didn't really have any expectations. Like honestly, like I was more like over the moon, shell shocked, because like I was planning on playing like club hockey at University of Central Oklahoma. Or like I think I was gonna like go to like University of Arizona and like try to make their club team like 2 years before. So like to go from thinking of playing club hockey to playing a Division 1, like, and then like when I went there, like we were in like the legit WCHA conference with like Minnesota, Duluth, St. Cloud, Wisconsin, Denver, North Dakota. That was our conference. Like we were like a legit,
Wow.
it was a legit conference. So for me, it was more like I was just like over the moon, one, to be there, because like it's insane when you get there and like you have like full kit, like you have everything, like you get everything from the school, like it's insane. So, and I've never like seen that before. Even in juniors, like you don't get like everything you ask for. Like, so like I was more like over the moon, and like that was a real big learning curve. Like it's a big step to go from the NA to Division 1, and like you're playing against. So I was 20, and like you're playing against. Think about it, you're playing against 24-year-old, 25-year-old seniors. Like they're grown men, and you're kind of a kid still. So like it was a learning curve. I think I struggled my freshman year. Kind of it was tough. It was towards the end of the season, and you don't play that much as a freshman too. So like, you know, you kind of get in every once in a while. So it's like, you know, you got to learn and do the best you can. And it's super frustrating because you don't play games. So it's like, how am I going to improve? Because like you got older classmates that are going to play over you. So that was frustrating, but like it wasn't towards the end of the season where like I started getting some playing time, and I started like kind of, I wouldn't say coming into my own, but I was kind of like figuring it out a little bit, where like, like just like getting points and like understanding how to be like good defensively, and what they kind of wanted from me, and just stuff like that. It was just like little things that like once it clicks, and you kind of just, you know, understand what you need to do actually.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, what was the most challenging part about coming to play against these bigger guys and just stronger guys? Like you have to find ways to do at least something to get noticed by your coach, and just to try to help the team win, and like make plays and not get crushed against the wall or anything. It's like, what do you have to do to help yourself develop further to help skate with these guys?
Well, yeah, like for me, it was just like keep it simple. Like if you like play defense, like get the puck, move it quick, get it out. Like try not to do too much, because like I don't know if you've ever seen like a college hockey game. Like it's guys running around full speed with cages, and like everybody murders everybody, because like you can't like get a high sticking penalty or anything. So like, you know, it's like guys go on the forecheck like a million miles an hour, and it's like terrifying now to think about it. But it's like, for me, it was just keep it simple, like get it out of the zone, don't get scored on, be good defensively, and like just try and not like, you know, get scored on and embarrassed. Like you're playing against like, God, like, well, I remember when we played like Wisconsin my freshman year, I think like 5 out of their 6 D men are in the NHL now, and it's like it was stupid. Like they had like Step On, they had like Blake Jeffrey. It was just like we'd go there and we're like, all right, guys, let's try not to get 7 goals scored on us. Like they were just like bad. They were just better than us. We're like, all right, guys, like like their D were like, it was like McDonough was on their D. Like it was just like stupid. Like we're like, all right, like let's not get killed.
Yeah, and it's like a run and gun kind of league there, because everyone's trying to throw hits. Like it gets like any hit's fine in that league, pretty much.
Tons of hits. Everybody's skating a million miles an hour, because like all you do in college is like skate, work out, and like go to class. So you're like, everybody's like the strongest they're ever been. It's just like everybody murdering everybody. It's like, Jesus, it's good hockey, but it's just like it's insanely fast.
Yeah, absolutely. So you played 20 games your freshman year, and then you got in 24 games your sophomore year. So like, what was that sophomore year like, and just gain the experience and gaining a little more confidence in your game and in yourself at the college level?
Yeah, that was it's just different, because like your freshman year, they're kind of like easing you in. Your sophomore, you get like a little bit more responsibility. So like I think my sophomore year, we still had an older team with a lot of older guys. So like they're still going to play above you. So it's not until like, so it's kind of like, they kind of like, unless you're like a stud, like they kind of like ease you in. So like my sophomore year was like the same thing pretty much, where like I kind of knew what I needed to, and it was kind of like mastering what I was successful at and just being more consistent. Like consistency was like the one thing I struggled in college, was like like I'd play like one really good game and then like one bad game. So it was just finding that in between where like, you know, like this is what I need to do to be successful. And then when I'm not having a good game, it was like just find what I was good at, to not have it be like one spectrum or the other. So
Yeah.
that was kind of sophomore year. I figured that out. And then junior year, I was a little bit better. And then senior year, we got a new coach where it was kind of like starting fresh again, where like you get a new coach and it's like you're starting like your freshman year again. Like he'll find the guys that he likes, and because he didn't bring any of the guys in, so it's guys that are already there. So it was kind of like senior year was more like back to freshman year, where like he's got to like you're back to square one.
Yeah, for sure. So then your junior year, you played in 38 games, which is the most you played in your college career in a season. And then you played 26 games your senior year. So like what were those final 2 years like? And did you like realize that like the pro ranks was like right there and that you could potentially get a spot somewhere?
No, I still wasn't even thinking about that, to be honest. Like I played a lot my junior year. That's when I kind of had a better year. Like I figured it out. Like I just remember that's when I was kind of like, all right, I can like actually maybe take hockey somewhere. And then senior year, we got a new coach. And like I said, it was like starting from scratch where like he's got to find out who he likes. And it was kind of like a battle all year. And like I kind of got really burnt out of hockey then, where I was just over hockey. Like I was like, because I was like, I'm a senior, like I was not really playing. I got kicked out of my last game for like kneeing somebody on Miami of Ohio. So I was like, the coach just didn't, I wouldn't say he didn't like, yeah, I just don't think he liked me. So it was just like frustrating. And like thinking about playing pros after that, like I was so burnt out. I was like, I'm going to give hockey one more shot. That was my thing, was like, after I graduated, I was like, I'm going to give pros one shot. And if I don't like it, I'm done. Like, I'm just going to stop playing. And everybody I talked to, like I had friends that graduated before me, and like they played in America. They played in like the East Coast Hockey League. And I asked them about it, and they were like, man, I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, don't come. They're like, don't come to this league. So like, I literally like legit tried to I just decided, I was like, I'm going to go to Europe and at least see a little bit of the world and just like experience a different culture and just at least try to enjoy hockey. And if I don't, then I'm just done. So that's how I signed in the Dutch league.
Yeah, absolutely. So like going through your 4 years of college, like what were some of the biggest takeaways you learned from the college game that you brought into the pro levels?
Like the consistency that I told you, like that was the biggest thing to learn, was like on your good game, you know, it should be really good, but like on your bad game, there shouldn't be a huge swing between like your very, very good games and your very, very bad games. Like there should be at least a medium, you know, level that you should be at, where like, you know, like that's your standard. And if you should always be above that standard and never below. That was probably the biggest. That and just work ethic, like going to the rink, you know, enjoying what you're doing, kind of learning new stuff on the ice, like getting out of your comfort zone. Like the game's easy if you can kind of master and learn different things. If you never get out of your comfort zone, then it's like you won't learn as much, and then games will be harder because you're experiencing things you've never experienced before, and it's in a game situation where it's way faster and way harder.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to enjoy the process, because the process is what gets you there. And like, you just got to enjoy every moment, because like when you look back at it, like those are probably the best moments of your career, is just how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, exactly.
So then after your senior year at Minnesota State Mankato, you began your pro career overseas in the Netherlands for HYC Herentals. Probably butchered that, but what what was that first year of pro like for you, and just finding a team in the Netherlands while also like exploring like the Europe game?
So that was probably my first year pro. I had an absolute blast. Like it's my first time actually like living in Europe, in like Belgium. If no one's ever been, it's like an unreal, beautiful country. Everybody speaks, well, they speak like Dutch or Flemish and they speak English, but like just being able to like, you know, actually make money playing the game was awesome. And the team was good. And the coach was, he was an American. So like he spoke English, and like me and him got along great. And just being able to live in Europe and kind of just get a different culture and experience new foods. And Belgium's known for like beer, chocolate, and waffles. So like to see new cities, like just stuff you've never seen before, travel around on like off days. Like it was awesome. Like the guys that I lived with on the team were great too. So like I think they were all first or second year pro. So it was kind of like, we just experienced everything together where, we'd all go as teammates and we'd all hang out. And it was just like, it was just like the most fun I've had. And that was the only reason why like that kept me keep playing hockey, where I was like, this is something I enjoy. It wasn't anything like college where like no one's telling you when you have to work out. That's what burnt me out from college, was like you had like schedules all the time and like you never had a say in anything you did. And pros was like you were on your own schedule. Like you just get it done on your own. Like you're trusted. Like the coach is like, you're professional. Like you do this on your own. Like if you want to work out before practice, work out before practice. If you want to work out after, like just get it done. Like it was just nice to have a little bit of freedom where it wasn't so structured. And on off days or like optional days, like you could take the option. It wasn't like college where it's like it's optional, but you should get on the ice.
You
like,
have
it wasn't, it wasn't like one of those where like it's optional, but like if you're not here, like we're gonna like hold that against you and you won't play it next weekend. Like it was nothing like that. So like that was fun. And the season was awesome. Like I signed as a defenseman, then switched to forward middle of the season, and then had success and just enjoyed, hockey and having fun. And that was the biggest thing I went overseas for. And that was what I found when I did it.
Yeah, and who doesn't love going to an unfamiliar country, and they also speak English a little bit, so it's an even better circumstance that you don't have to learn like a whole different language out of nowhere and like no one else is speaking English.
Yeah, so that was a huge plus. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like what was it like going from the North American ice to the European ice? Like there must have been a pretty significant difference, especially like how the game's played.
Yeah, it wasn't that big because we played on Olympic ice in college. So like I was used to that. So we played on Olympic ice, which is fine. And then it's just the game's different. It's more like puck possession. You don't really dump, like college, you dump and chase and forecheck and stuff like that. And like overseas, it was more like puck possession. You trap a lot more. It wasn't as like there's not as much hitting. Like it's not like college where guys are trying to murder each other. But like it's just a different style of hockey. But it's more, I'd say it's like more skilled and more systems than kind of like college. College was more like it was systems, but it was more like run and gun, chip the puck, go forecheck. It was more like pucks and bodies, and here it's more skilled.
Yeah, absolutely. So you scored 16 goals that first season. So like, what was it like getting that first pro goal? And like, do you remember how it happened?
Yeah, I scored it. It was my first game, actually. I remember exactly. It was probably, I don't want to say it was like a touching moment, but like it was one of those where like it happens and I was kind of more relieved, like, all right, well,
monkey off the back.
Yeah, like monkey off my back. I was like, I got my first goal in my first game. Like, let's get this season going. And then, yeah, that's pretty much how it was. I was just like, from there on, I was just rolling. Like it was kind of like pressure off. It was just pressure you put on yourself where you're like, got us like, well, how long is it going to be till I score? And it was like first game. And I was like, let's go. And the rest of that was like a breeze. Like everything came easier. It was just not as much pressure on you. And, you just kind of go about every game and just enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So like throughout like that first pro season, like did you have a realization of like reality of pro hockey? And like if you did, like what was that reality of pro hockey like, and just learning from going from the college game to the pro game and how it's different?
Reality was, like I said, it was kind of it's more like you pushing yourself rather than coaches pushing you. Like coaches, like they'll push you, but at the same time, like you're a professional, like you're getting paid to play this. Like if you're not going to push yourself, like they'll just fire you. Like college, they can't fire you. Like you're there for 4 years. So like, it's just more personal motivation. That was the biggest thing I found out. Like if like you need to kind of get on your ass every once in a while and be like, I need to do better. Like if you want to stay on this team and have a job, like you got to perform. And I think some people thrive under pressure like that, where you kind of put it on yourself. Like I need to perform or I'm going to get fired. And some people crumble. So for me, it was just, the self-motivation was the one thing I took away from my first year. And after that, you kind of you set a tone, and then you can, once you realize that tone, like you can pretty much, stay there, and you realize what you need to do to be successful.
Yeah, for sure. It's a whole different thing going from college to pro, because you're by yourself at that point. You're a professional, like
Yeah.
you said. Like you have to treat everything like a professional, and you got to do everything you can to keep performing and
Yeah.
keep getting better day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure.
then the next 2 years you spend time in the Elite Ice Hockey League for the Nottingham Panthers, where you played in 52 games each season. So like, what was your experience in Nottingham? I know you said you really liked the coach there, so like that must have helped the experience a ton. So like, what was it like playing in Nottingham?
Yeah, so Nottingham, like the coach, obviously I liked playing for him, and like he understood the way I played playing forward and D, and he'd switch me out each position, which was great. And like, I think that's when I kind of started stepping up my game, and kind of mastering both forward and defense, and being at least like a top 6 forward and a top 4 defenseman, and being effective at both, and being good on both sides of the puck and penalty killing and stuff like that. Like that's where I think I evolved my game the most. And like I wanted to come over to this league. Like I had my British passport, but I needed to play 2 years in the league to be able to play for the national team. So like I wanted to get over to this league as fast as possible to play those 2 years. And that's what I did. And like I played the 2 years in Nottingham. My first year we weren't great. My second year we won the Challenge Cup, which is like a tournament they have in the middle of the season, and then we won playoffs. So like that was a good year. And then out of that, like that's when I was able to sign in Rockford in the AHL. Like that's how I got that opportunity. So like if it wasn't for those 2 years in Nottingham, like that, there's no way I would have ever. I don't think I ever would have thought I would have played in the AHL with like the resume that I had. And so like if it wasn't for Nottingham, I don't think I ever would have got that.
Yeah, for sure. So then you play those 2 years in Nottingham, and you get to be on Great Britain's national team. So you were part of the world championship team there. So you played in 5 games. So like, what was it like playing on a world stage like that and repping Great Britain on your jersey?
It was special, honestly. Like it was something really cool. Like I've been over to the UK and stuff when I was younger, like with my dad and visiting family, and my grandparents were born here. So, it was something for me, like I'll never forget being able to put that jersey on. And it's not many people get to play on a national team for a country, and get that opportunity, and to be a part of the national team for GB. And like we've had, like when I joined the team, like the team was on the up. Before I was coming, they had a new coach, and they were kind of revamping everything. And like the success the team's had since I was able to join is like, it's insane. Like we went silver medal my first tournament, and then we went gold medal my second. I got injured. They went gold medal in that one. I think they were the first national team to go back-to-back golds and stay up in like the top. So like we play in the top world championships. Like we play USA, we play Canada, we play Finland, Russia. Like it's insane to think like Great Britain ice hockey's made that big of a leap in such a short amount of time. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, what was it like winning that gold medal?
It was cool. My parents were there. It was right after I left Rockford. It was in Belfast, so it was like home ice kind of for us. So it was honestly unreal. Like we kind of, I don't want to say like, yeah, we pretty much tore up that tournament. Like like I think Japan was who we played, and they came down from the group below, and they were supposed to be the top team, and I think we beat them like 3-0, pretty good. Like every game, there was a couple close games, but yeah, like we as a team, we absolutely like came together, and it was just the coolest experience to be able to celebrate with those guys, and sing the national anthem, and just like the whole team worked so hard to get that gold medal. It was something cool. And then for them to do it again the next year was insane to watch. Like I was so happy for them. Like they 100% deserve it, but like it's crazy how big, like how many steps the team's taken in such a short amount of time. It's crazy.
Yeah, that must have been an unreal experience, and like you probably still get the chills every time you think about it, and just like everything that you went through during that time, and just come up as a gold medal champion. Like, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and like if you look back like at my resume and what I came from, like there's if you would have told me when I was 17 like I was gonna do that, there's not a chance I would have believed you. Like how I was and where I was in my level of play, and even in college, if you told me, I don't think I would have believed you. Like I would have been like, there's no way I'd ever be able to do that. So to be able to do that, and obviously have my parents there to watch it and come on the ice after and celebrate, was something really cool.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's awesome. So then you get a chance in the American Hockey League with the Rockford Icehogs that same year.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what was it like playing in your home state, and you played in 41 games that season, getting 9 points, and like you probably had family come pretty much every game. So like, what was that? What was that like?
It was fun. It was good. Some games it was frustrating because like you got to realize like the Ice Hogs are, the affiliates of the Chicago Blackhawks, and like you get treated really well. Like you're in Rockford, the arena's nice, like the locker room's nice. You get treated really well, but like I'm not a draft pick, like I'm not a prospect. So like I
So the
was
drafts and the prospects are gonna
yeah, they're gonna play
get the
over
nod over
they're,
you.
they're gonna get the nod over me. So like I played fourth line pretty much the whole year, and like I played D a little bit, but like once again, like in Europe, I'm more valuable because you're only allowed so many imports on a team. In North America, if a D-man gets hurt, they just call somebody up. Like here you can't do that. Like here you can't call. Like you have to like switch positions. Where like there, like I would want to say I wasn't used, but it's like I'm not a draft pick. I'm not a prospect. So like I was used, and like I'm thankful like I got that opportunity. Like it was great to play, but at the same time, I was kind of like that's when I kind of solidified for me like I belong in Europe. Like that's my type of hockey. Like it's great to have it on your resume, and like I learned a lot that year about like the game, how the game's played, and what it takes to actually make it in the NHL. Like it's not easy. Like well, if it was easy, everybody could do it. But yeah, like to be able to what you need to do to be successful and actually make it to the NHL it's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. So while your time was in Rockford, like there's a big rivalry between the Wolves and Rockford. So like I've had Wolves on the podcast, and so like what is from an Icehogs player's perspective, like what is that rivalry like, and just the intensity that the games are when you guys are
Well,
playing each other?
yeah, there's a rivalry, and then you realize you're like an hour and a half away from each other. So like you're in the same conference, you play each other freaking 15 times a
12,
year.
15 times.
Yeah, so like even if there's not a rivalry, by like game 5 there's a rivalry because like you either hate somebody on the team or somebody did something. So like me and you talked about earlier, like Binnington was there and he like skated in front of our like tough guy, and like they ended up getting in a fight, and then it was like mayhem after that. Like it's just like stuff, but like their tempers are gonna flare after 15 games, and like you're an hour away from each other. Like you see each other all the time. Like there's gonna be some rivalry, there's gonna be fights, there's gonna be something. By game 15 you're just like you want to kill somebody.
Yeah, so like what was that game like? Because you guys had the Wolves like 6-2, I think, and then that whole melee started. So like what was it like
it,
from the bench?
yeah, it was it's you kind of realize like the game's over, it's 6-2, but then like that stuff happens and it's just like yeah, and you got guys doing that, and you're just like, all right, well, we're gonna have one of these games now where like either we're fighting or like it's like one of those like cheap like hacky games. It just sets the tone for the next game because it's like a playoff series. So it's like you don't really look too much into it, but then like you got the goalie going after our tough guy, and like our tough guy's ready to kill everybody. I'm just like, oh
And then
god,
almost
like
a goalie fight at center ice, but
yeah, and like
nothing happened.
yeah, like it was. I wish I don't know if my friend Matt Caruth was in that because like he would have went down there and tried to fight him. Like 100%, he would have went down there to fight him.
I
So
think I think Joe Hansen was in that
yeah,
night.
if it was Matt Caruth would have been down at the other end going to fight him. Dead serious. I know for a fact he would have. Like he's one of my best friends, and like I played juniors with him. Like he'd fight our coach. Like he'd fight guys like in practice. Like I wish it was him. It would have been way more entertaining. Like a goalie fights like that gets everybody going.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one great game to be one great game as like an intensity and like fighting. Like you don't really see that as much anymore now. But like at that game, like I was at that game, like that was a crazy game to be a part of, especially for you guys, like being actually on the ice like that. Must have been unreal.
Yeah. Those games are fun. Good atmosphere, at least. Like it's the fans get involved, so it's fun. So no one got hurt. No one got hurt. So.
Yeah, absolutely. The rivalry games are the best games to play in.
For sure.
Yeah. So throughout that year in the AHL, like what were some of the things that you learned throughout that season that helped you when you did go back overseas to Europe?
Just the professionalism, like the difference, like you can't really in Rockford, like you couldn't really take days off. Like you had to come to the rink and you had to give everything, and like the coaches see that, and like if you take a day off, like somebody's going to replace you. Like they have, affiliate, like the Rockford has affiliates, like guys get sent down from the NHL, like you're easily replaced in America. So like if you don't have some kind of intangibles or something you bring to the team, like and like a work ethic, like if you don't have that, like and for me, it was even harder because like I wasn't a draft pick, I wasn't a prospect. So like for me to stick around for 41 games, and like I played 41 games, but I was around most of the season. I only played 9 games in the East Coast when I got sent down, and that was for like conditioning stints. Like I'd go for like a game or two and then I'd come back. Like I pretty much stayed the whole year, and like that was, I think, just because of my work ethic, which stems back from when I played in the WSHL. Like you just don't want to get outworked. Like it's kind of survival mode. Like you'll do whatever it takes, and not a lot of guys do that. Like a lot of guys, like the way like my background, like I had to work for everything I got, and like a lot of kids nowadays are kind of handed, or like their parents pay for them to be on AAA. Like they don't really earn anything, they're handed it. So like when you tell one of those kids like you have to like outwork somebody or you have to compete, like it's uncharted territory for them. For me, it was like no one's gonna outwork me. Like I want to stay, and like I want to try to make it to the NHL. And I was like, I'm gonna work my ass off, and whatever happens, like happens. I'm gonna go all in, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to Europe. And that's kind of like, I learned a lot from that. And then at the end of the season, I didn't really have any other opportunities. So then I went back to Europe. Like that's where I know I'm going to be successful. I just came back with a different mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So like when you did get sent down to the East Coast with the Indy Fuel, like that's a real like run and gun league. So like what was the playing the coast like and playing in Indy?
Indy's a good spot. Like the teams run really well. Like they got a nice setup. Yeah, like you said, it's like run and gun. I think they only have like 9 forwards, 1 extra, and like 5D. So like you play a ton, which was great for me because like I'd get sent down, and like the coach there, like he'd want to play me because like Rockford obviously sent me down to play. So like I'd play in every situation. So like you go from like playing in Rockford, playing 7 minutes a night on the 4th line, to being like first line, you're playing like 25-30 minutes. You're just like I enjoyed it. Like I loved it down there. Like it was good to get down there, get ice time, get some confidence, and then go back up to Rockford and just kind of stick, like see if you can stay up there. And then I only played like, I don't even know, 7 or 8 games or something. I didn't play much in Indy. Like I'd go down, play 1 or 2 games, and go back to Rockford because it's only 3-hour drive or something, or 4-hour drive. You just drive or fly there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm guessing you didn't take it as like a down, as like you got down yourself when you went to the ECHL because you knew you're gonna get an opportunity to play and you're just gonna go back right back up to Rockford in a few games.
No, like I didn't take it like that, but I think like that was just the way, like my attitude, where like I'd get sent down and I'd kind of be pissed off, where I was like, well, I'm gonna get back. Like for me, it was like, I'm gonna get back as fast as I can. Like this is not where I want to be. So I kind of pissed me off a little bit. And then like I'd get the call, but like some guys, they'd be like, oh man, this is a downgrade. Like I got sent down, and then they're like so bummed they don't like actually work down there. Like
and then they stick at that level.
And then they stick at that level where it's like it's all about attitude. And I think that's the biggest thing with kids. And if you want to be able to make it, like it's your attitude affects a lot more than you think. Like you got to go with a positive attitude. And like, yeah, it sucks getting sent down, but like at the same time, like it's either you fold up shop and cry about it and then you're stuck in the East Coast, or you like do whatever you can to get back. And like, at least if you do everything you can, you work your bag off and you don't make it, you can say like, I did everything I could and it just didn't work out. Like, I think people are just so inclined to pack it in and quit, where it's like, did you really give yourself, you didn't really give yourself the best chance. And like, it's just a mindset thing where like, you kind of got to say, screw it. Like, I'm going to do whatever I can. And if it doesn't work out, then I know I left everything on the table and I have no regrets in doing what I did.
Yeah, absolutely. No regrets is a big one, because if you get sent down, like, you got to push yourself to get to the next, to get to back to where you were.
Yeah.
But like
Exactly.
a lot, like you said, a lot of people would just like mope around and be like, oh, and not put in the work because they got sent down. But that also has a really bad effect on them, because they're not gonna be able to move up at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So then the next few seasons, you go back to play overseas, where you played for the Nottingham Panthers again, then went to Denmark with Herning Blue Fox, then the Cardiff Devils, and then you also played for Great Britain in the World Championships again. So like, what were those years like for you, traveling around the world playing hockey and experiencing different places like you have your entire career?
Nottingham, like, it was the normal, same coach, same teammates. So like, that was pretty much normal. Denmark, I tried it and I hated it. So I left and went to Cardiff, and then loved Cardiff. Like, great organization. The coach there was awesome. The guys were awesome. Like, loved Cardiff, and then played World Championships in the top group. That was against like the Canada, USA. That was when I ended up getting injured the last game against France. I tore my MCL, ACL, and like, but it was still awesome. Like, we ended up beating France in overtime to stay up in the top group. Like, it was celebration. Like, even though I had one bad knee, like, throw the knee brace on and went out and celebrated with the boys. And yeah, that was probably the most fun I had. The only thing that sucked was when you got the news, like, I had to get surgery and you're out 9 months and you pretty much miss the entire next year because of knee surgery. So
yeah, so like, what was going through that surgery and like, or like that injury like, and just having to like push through everything and just try to get your game back to where it was?
yeah, it's frustrating it was frustrating because, like, it's the first couple months are like sitting and waiting and you're not really doing anything. You're letting it heal. And then the rehab, like, you start that and like you lose so much muscle and it feels like your knee's not really attached to your body. So like, getting used to that, and it's like, it's just frustrating, and it's so hard. Like, it's such hard work. It's a grind because, like, every day, like, you want to, like, you're doing stuff that you were able to do so easily before. And like, you got to relearn kind of how to walk. You got to relearn how to do exercises. You got to relearn how to skate. And like, skating didn't come like till like month 7, maybe 6,
Wow.
7. And like, I was out.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, it's just a grind, but like, once again, it's like a mindset, like, where I'd go every day, and like, as long as I improved every day, I took it as a positive, where like, as long as I didn't have any setbacks, like injuries, which luckily I didn't, it was just a mindset thing. Like, it sucks and it's shit what's going on, but like, you can't cry about it. No one's going to feel sorry for yourself. Like, no one's going to feel sorry for you. Like, you got to have a good attitude. So like, luckily I was in Cardiff. They kept me around the team. I was able to go on road trips with the guys. I felt like I was a part of the team, but I, like, deep down, I didn't really feel like I was a part of the team, but it kept me sane to be around the guys, be able to go to the rink every morning, sit through video, just like stuff like that. Whereas like, I still felt part of the team, but like, I was still on my own thing. But like, yeah, it's just a mindset. Like, as long as you can always progress and never have setbacks, that's kind of how I did it. And then it was like, everything kind of, usually around like I think it was like month 4 or 5, that's when things started picking up, and I was like, started doing like strengthening stuff, and then it started coming back. And then finally, after like begging the coach and stuff and the physio to get me on the ice, they let me on the ice. And then after that, it was kind of like, is my game ever going to be back to where it was? And luckily, like, came back, and I didn't really feel like I missed a beat. I ended up playing the end of the season. I played like a couple games, like 7 or 8 games, and I did good. Like, I didn't really miss a beat or anything. And I was like pumped, and like, we were going to go into playoffs, and then Corona hit, and then the season got canceled. So like, I just took that whole summer as like my season. Like I never stopped. Like I did like my own home workouts. I bought rollerblades and I'd like go rollerblade around Downers Grove and stuff. Like I basically took that summer as like I continued that whole summer. I'd like continued season workouts and everything. Like I never took anything off because I took pretty much the whole season off.
Yeah, that's a great mindset to have though, especially like because like we talked about earlier, like people are gonna get down on themselves like when they get cut from a team and get like sent back a league, like and then like the injuries happen and you just gotta keep the positives in mind, even though there might not be a lot, but like just not having those setbacks that like recauses injury. And then it's all the little things like when you were in Cardiff, like the like being with the team still and just doing everything you can to stay sane during that whole injury process and just being able to at least be around the team and have a good support system.
Yeah, you just gotta. I always joke around and say like you just gotta embrace the suck. So you just gotta freaking get through it. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, for sure. So then this last season you played for a team called Gap and Liga Magnus and EHC Freiburg in the Del 2. So like what was it like playing during the COVID 2021 season and all like the restrictions you guys probably had to face, and like how important was a year for you to get games during this COVID season?
Yeah, and that's why it sucked, to be honest. So I signed in France, and I remember like I told them like I didn't play the year before, so like I wanted to play games. I signed in France. We kept getting like the league kept getting shut down because of COVID, so like it kept pausing. And then I told the coach, I was like, the Great Britain national team coach was in Germany in Freiburg, and he was like, we're playing regardless of Corona, like we're going, like we're not stopping. Government shutdown, like the league still goes. So I left because I told the coach, I was honest. I was like, I signed here to play hockey games. Like I need to play a full season. Like it, and like I came off that injury, and I was like, man, if I don't play a season or games this year, like I'll probably never find a job anywhere else. So like luckily I got to Germany. Like they were practicing every day. They were playing games, just no fans, which sucks because like there's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
And yeah, like in Germany, like it was, my day was normal, like go work out, practice. Like we'd have games on the weekends. The only thing was like you just don't have fans. You're not going to like lunch with the boys after practice. You're not doing anything because everything's closed. So you're just going to your apartment. But like for me, it was normal. Like it was normal, and I needed that. Like I think I needed to be able to play and strengthen my knee and actually get a good season under my belt and get the confidence back.
Yeah, absolutely. So like what was like the biggest like struggle that you faced during the season? Was it just like
Boredom.
boredom. Yeah, just being bored and not being able to do anything outside of just playing.
Yeah, like you'd go to the rink and like you can't go get lunch with the guys because everything's closed. So like you spend time with your teammates, but it's not like normal where like
Not
you're
the
hanging out
same.
all the time. Yeah, and like boredom sets in, and like you only can watch so much Netflix and you can only stream so many videos, where it's like towards the end of the year, like towards like playoffs, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. It was like June or May. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go home. Like I'm ready to get this season over with. Like get me home.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a few more questions for you before we wrap things up here. So like, do you have any tips for hockey players looking to get to that next level?
Yeah, just stick with it. Like I think you're gonna go. There's gonna be ups and downs like in your career, and I think I wouldn't say ever give up. I think a lot of people are gonna tell you like you're not good enough. I wouldn't listen to, like, I've had coaches tell me like I'll never make it to where I'm at now. Like I would never, write yourself off and kind of and give up on yourself. I think you got to keep a good attitude and do what you love. And if it's something you're not enjoying anymore, then maybe that's not for you. But like, if you have the right heart and the right passion, just stick with what you're doing. Like, there's not a cookie cutter, career path in hockey. Like if you look at mine, like I have the weirdest career path ever in like leagues I've played. And like, I think, kids think it's you play AAA, you play juniors, you get drafted, you go to college, you go to the pros. Like it's not, it is similar, it is like that, but like everybody takes different roads. Like there's different ways to make it. And like I just wouldn't get discouraged. And if like it's hard because like people's friends have that normal path they take, and like if yours is a little different, like who cares? Like at the end of the day, like you're doing what you love to do. And if you can take hockey as far as you can and take opportunities like getting a scholarship and playing professionally and getting paid to do something that you love, basically playing a hobby, like who cares? Like just do what makes you happy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great tip, especially like just gotta do whatever you want and just like continue the game as far as
Yeah.
you want. And it's just like no one path is the same. Every single path is gonna be different no matter
Yeah.
who you are. And it's just
Like you're a
it's
goal.
awesome
You're a
to see
goalie.
it. Yeah.
You're a goalie. Like look at Scott Darling. Like you would have
Mm-hmm.
thought that guy would have won a Stanley Cup when he was playing. Like
He
he was
started
playing in the
out in the
SPH.
SB.
Yeah. You would have thought that guy, like everybody has different, like, and it doesn't matter. Like if you're going to make, like he probably never thought he was going to make it ever. And like, he stuck with it. And like, yeah, he's had not the best end of his like career path, but like he's a Stanley Cup champion. Like no one can ever take that from him. Like no one, he's got something that there's not many people that can, or even playing an NHL game. He's got that, like not many people can say they played an NHL game. Like, so like props to him. Like it's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one great path because you would not expect that to happen from going from the SB all the way up to the show and getting a Stanley Cup all in between there. Like that's unreal.
Yeah. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next question for you is what's your favorite pump up song? Like you're trying to get a lift in, a little pump, like pregame warm ups, like what are you listening to?
Man, I don't know. I don't really have a pump up song. Like it depends. Like I'll just randomly hear something and get fired up. And like, yeah, I'm also like kind of like a psychopath. Like I can work out. Like I don't know how blows people's minds. Like I can work out with no music, no headphones, no music playing. Like I can just like go to a gym, do whatever I need to do, like work out hard without any music. And people are like,
that's crazy.
People are like, that's insane, man. How do you do that? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, you just got to get it. But like warm-ups, like I love going to like away team rinks, and because they always play different music, and it just sometimes it fires me up when they play good music. Like, so like you'll hear like Travis Scott's Sicko Mode somewhere, and it's just like, yes, like this is getting me going.
Just flip a switch on the radio, and the song that comes up, like you're pumped to that.
Yeah, like I'm weird. Like I have like Spotify. Like I don't have Spotify Premium. Like I'll just like shuffle playlists, and like whatever comes. Like I'm kind of weird like that. Music doesn't really like do it for me. I'll just put whatever on.
Yeah, that's still awesome though. But my final question for you is, what's been like your favorite city you visited so far in your career?
Oh God.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yeah, like favorite. I honestly like Gap, France was like to live there was unreal. Like it's in the French Alps. Like I'd go hiking. We didn't really play hockey, so like to keep myself busy, I'd go hiking, and like there's mountains everywhere, and like you're climbing like 2,000-meter like mountains, like overlook the city. Like it was actually like probably the most enjoyable time I've had in a country where like it was just exploring, and like you'd hike and see new places, try new food, like meet new people. Like that in Belgium were probably, I love the UK. Like I love the UK, don't get me wrong, but just to be able to climb a mountain that overlooks like gorgeous more French Alps, like you don't see that, especially in Downers Grove, like Chicago. You ain't climbing any mountains anywhere. So yeah, that was probably the most like breathtaking, beautiful place I've been. To be able to go there was awesome.
Yeah, that's unreal. Bunch of sick views with those mountain views. Like there's nothing better than when you get those mountains in the background. Just you get to just see them. Just unreal.
Yeah, it was a great spot. Like it was probably the most like beautiful scenery place I've ever been.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Evan, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. I want to wish you the best of luck going forward with this season, with your career. And I look forward to catching up sometime in Downers Grove when you come back.
Sounds good, man. Can't wait. Yeah, we'll grab something to drink when I get back, and good luck to you this year too, man.